Uniform, Class A uniform. I'm wearing fatigues, you know.
Yeah.
So there's some major in there, and I talked to him and told him what all my background was, and he said, well, I didn't have the faintest idea who he was with, and I told him, I had all this engineering background.
Yeah.
I'd like to get into an engineering battalion, you know, and at the same time that was happening, most of my buddies, they had two choices. They could go 33rd Infantry Division or 11th Airborne.
Oh, uh-huh.
And most of my buddies went for the 11th Airborne.
Airborne.
And they took their jump training in Luzon.
Oh, wow.
Philippines.
While they were there in
Yeah.
Philippines.
Oh, yeah. They got their training right in Luzon, and they made a combat jump on Luzon.
Yeah.
While the war was still going.
Mm-hmm.
They jumped behind the Japanese lines.
Yeah.
And disrupted it. And then later at the end of the war, they were up at Okinawa, stationed for invasion of Japan.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they all got their orders, and I didn't get any orders.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the first sergeant at this replacement depot and said, hey, what's with me? He said, well, don't worry about it. He says, somebody knows where the hell you are, or they'll be in touch. You know?
Uh-huh.
So about 2 days went by, and he says, I got to be on such and such a corner in replacement depot at such and such a time for pickup. So I get up there.
Did they tell you what for?
He didn't know.
Okay.
But when I got up there, I was talking to a couple of the other guys that were standing there waiting for the transportation.
Yeah.
It was military censorship detachment.
Yeah, okay.
So that turned out to be a fiasco too, because the guy picked us up in a truck, a semi, and one of the sergeant was getting picked up, got in the front with him, and he said, we had to report this to military censorship detachment. He said, all he knows where that was.
Uh-huh.
And he takes up, and the asshole's driving us up to the front. For the Japanese line.
Oh,
they were still shooting up there.
Uh-huh.
In fact, we were close enough we could hear rifle fire.
Yeah.
And before the guy in the truck said, hey, this isn't where we're supposed to go. Yeah. We're supposed to go to MCD downtown Manila.
Yeah.
So they took us all the way back down. So,
jeez.
So since, from my background, they picked me, and I was instructing Filipinos on how to do mail censorship.
Yeah, okay.
And the war was still on.
And those was Filipinos who could read English.
Yeah. You could read and write English, and they had them doing a lot of the mail checking. And, but I did it about 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days, and they had a guy down in Biac.
Mm-hmm.
A sergeant, and he had enough points to go home on rotation.
Yeah. So he got his orders to go home, and they needed a replacement for him. So that was me. Yeah.
And they cut me some
Biac
orders
still
to
in
go
the Philippines?
to Biac. Yeah. Biac.
Is that still in the Philippines? Biac?
No, Biac is just off the north coast of New Guinea. It's halfway between New Guinea and the equator.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an island.
In the middle of fucking nowhere.
Got that right. And
okay.
But it was a big battle there. There were a lot of Japanese on that island, and they had moved. There were a bunch of caves.
Yeah.
On one side of it, and they had moved some heavy artillery up into those caves.
Into the caves.
And had it hidden. When the Americans came, they opened up with that stuff, and the Americans had to go over into the other side of the island and come all the way across the damn island, and they had lowered charges.
Yeah, from the top of the mountain into the caves.
They lowered them down to the caves and wiped them out.
And was Biac the island where a lot of the civilian Japanese committed suicide?
No,
they didn't do.
There weren't any Japanese natives on the island.
Yeah.
They were the natives were mostly from New Guinea.
Yeah.
Real black.
Mm-hmm.
But there were still, at the end of the war, they estimated there were more live Japanese yet on the island
Yeah.
than there were Americans.
No way.
But they didn't have any armament. Every once in
They're
a while,
just hiding in the caves. And
yeah,
stuff.
well, every once in a while, I'd cut the fence and get into
Mm-hmm.
ordnance and steal some
Mm-hmm.
rifles and ammo, and then they'd get up on the hillside and shoot into the tents and stuff.
Man.
But my way down, I had orders to go from Manila to Biac, and I got as far as Lady
Mm-hmm.
in the Philippines. Lady, what did I give you the name for a town in New Guinea? Did I give you a Lady?
You said Finch Haven and then Lady.
Oh, Lady.
Or Lady. I mean Finch Haven.
Yeah, Finch, Lady is that's in the Philippines.
Yeah.
There's something similar to that though.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll find it. It's on the maps of New Guinea. But
Yeah.
anyway, I got the Lady, and I got kicked off because I'm a buck-ass private.
Yeah.
And, some lieutenant colonel wants to get on a plane, so they kicked me off, and I spent an overnight there and patrolled up and down the place looking for something that was going to Biac.
Yeah.
So I picked up a brand new C-46
Uh-huh.
that they're delivering to Australia.
Okay.
And they're going by way of Biac.
Yeah.
They'll take me. I think the pilot was 22 years old, and the co-pilot was 19 years old,
Uh-huh.
and the crew chief was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Of course, by that time I'm about 23 or 24,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just a passenger on it. And they had a bunch of mail in the back of the thing they were hauling. So they took off from Lady airstrip and get to about 5,000 or 6,000 feet when one engine quit.
Uh-huh.
And he wrapped it around and put it right back down on the same runway we were taking off of. And it kind of bothered me because every airport in the Pacific that I'd seen was loaded with C-46 wrecks.
Oh, gee.
And it was a bigger airplane than a C-47, and it carried a lot more load.
Yeah.
So it had a tendency to overload them, I think.
Oh.
But anyway, whatever the problem was. Anyway, they land, and this 20-year-old crew chief gets a ramp and puts it up, and he goes up and he fools around with the engine and comes back down and goes up the line and gets a permanent mechanic from Lady to come down, and the two of them go up and look, and they're discussing something,
what they're going to do.
And they button the thing all up and get down off the ramp, and they're talking some more, and they go back up and unbutton it again.
Oh.
Go back in. So they decided, okay, so they take off. So, and he, instead of going from Lady directly to Biac, he decided he was going over to Pelilou.
Oh, yeah.
Islands, landed at Pelilou.
Uh-huh.
So, there's nothing but water.
Uh-huh.
Lady ain't that big an island, but Pelilou is even smaller.
Oh, man.
But I'm stretched out in the back with nothing to do, and laying on a couple of mail bags, and I fall asleep. I wake up and I look out the window, and it looks like the propellers are dipping in water.
Yeah, that glow.
Yeah, and I run up to the cockpit. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
He said, I'm checking my absolute altimeter.
Oh.
And I said, that's real smart. I said, if that engine coughs 2 times, we're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
He says, oh, Yeah, so he pulls it back up.
Yeah.
And when he pulled up, we could see Pelilou.
Yeah.
So I always remember when we landed at Pelilou, we were taxiing down the taxi strip. There's a couple of Marines in a pickup truck trying to sell us coke
Uh-huh.
by the case.
Uh-huh.